Right now, I'm at about 5,000 meters above sea level, right along the tracks of the Qinghai-Tibet Railway. Going from Golmu, Qinghai Province, to Lhasa, the capital of the Tibet Autonomous Region, China has completed the world's highest altitude railway. Now, obstacles such as frozen terrain, lack of oxygen due to altitude, and a very fragile ecological system has made this a very challenging task for the Chinese government and construction workers. Today, on part 2 of our 3-part series on the Qinghai-Tibet Railway, you and I will take a closer look at the stories of these construction workers and their greatest accomplishments of some of the world's most impressive structures. Amazing. On June 29, 2001, the construction of the Qinghai-Tibet Railway began. The Tibetan people dressed up in their best clothes to celebrate this historical moment with singing and dancing. After 22 years of waiting, the first sound of the drill marked the restart of construction of what is known as the Skyway. Generations of Chinese people have devoted themselves to this special and challenging railway. Now, in present day, the dedication of a new generation of designers and construction workers have completed the dream of their people. The whole Qinghai-Tibet Railway is a total of 1,956 kilometers long, with the section between Golmu and Lhasa owning 1,110. The railway is built along the Golmu River, goes across the Kunlun Mountain Pass, through the Kokoshali and Fenghuoshan Mountain, across the Tuotuohe River and into the Tangala Mountain, passes along the Damxiang and Yangbajing Valley, with the final destination being Lhasa, the capital of the Tibet Autonomous Region. The main challenge of the railway lies in the 550-kilometer stretch of frozen land at an altitude of over 4,000 meters high, which the railway must stably be built upon and sometimes even go through. Precious nature reserves holding the endangered Tibetan antelope and black-necked cranes also run along the railway. With such a fragile ecological system, engineers took much time investigating and planning the most proper approach, both for safety of the railway and preservation of the unique land. Many different routes were designed before the final decision was made.
因为这条线呢，毕竟是一个极富挑战性的线路，而且呢，青藏高原呢是咱们人类对它认知最少的一块土地，因为它的自然条件非常恶劣，所以呢，对它的工程地质环境、气象条件、水文条件等等等等的一些自然了解认知的程度吧，远远不如咱们去了解的那么清楚。另外呢，在这片土地上啊，工程实践毕竟非常少，所以这项工作呢，一个是极具探索性，另外呢，应该说是极具挑战性。
In 1953, General Mu Shenzhong led a camel group of 3,000 people to build the Qinghai-Tibet Highway for 1 year. In 1955, he asked designers from the Northwest Design Institute, which is the precursor of the #1 Survey and Design Institute of China Railway Construction Corporation, to begin serving the Qinghai-Tibet Railway. In 1959, the No. 10 Division of Railway Troops were successful in extending the railway into a wasteland hundreds of kilometers to the east of Golmu. But soon after construction had begun, the 3-year natural disaster struck and state finances were limited, resulting in project construction being postponed.
第一次下马是那个3年困难，第一次啊，你像有些地方都施工了，青藏线呢，就gol木以南呢，有几个隧道都开工了。那为什么下马呢？主要是3年大跃进很困难时期，所以呢就整个停下来了。这个青藏铁路只修到哪呢？修到海盐，这修到海盐离悉尼100多公里，这修到就停下来了。
In 2000, it was decided that the section between Golmu and Lhasa would be completed. The new generation of engineers and designers went up to the plateau once again to research the land's changes and find the safest way to continue construction of China's dream. The Tangala Mountain stands at an elevation of over 5,000 meters. The climate up here is harsh and unpredictable. With low temperatures and low oxygen levels, danger for the construction workers always lingers. In June 2001, the design work of the railway was finished. The construction of the Golmu-Lhasa Railway had begun, and the Tibetan lands were once again filled with busy workers. In 1974, 2 divisions of railway troops went up the plateau. The 683-kilometer-long construction site stood between Xining and Golmu. Stationed at the north edge of the plateau, at an average elevation of over 3,000 meters, coldness, low oxygen levels, drought, and sands all threatened the soldiers' lives. Without the convenience of modern-day technology, progress on the railway was achieved only by old-fashioned hard work. Both the working conditions and the living conditions for the workers were far from comfortable.
这个当时呢，这个地方就没有任何这个淡水，全部呢都是用汽车从格尔木拉过来。这个拉一车水来了，主要要保证食堂做饭。完了以后呢，一个班呢提上那么2桶水，然后呢一个星期呢再刷牙洗脸啊。
The simple and limited living conditions were not the only challenges to the young soldiers. In such a vast wasteland, endless loneliness and desolation was felt many days from the longing to go back home to the warmth of their families. The length of the first part of the railway from Xining to Golmu is 864 kilometers. One of the most important structures along this stretch is the Guanjiao Tunnel, due to the great difficulty faced during its construction. The Guanjiao Tunnel is 4,010 meters long. At that time, it was the highest railway tunnel in the world. In 1958, the Xining Railway Bureau drilled 2,551 meters, creating the tunnel, but had to stop in 1961 and seal the hole.
75年的4月5号，发生了一次比较大的塌方。 当时这个洞呢，就是已经进去了，就是还没贯通的时候，就是塌方的面积在50米左右，就一下把洞堵死了。
大塌方灌进去127，这个事件呢，死了叫我去当指挥，就抢修这127的生命。
因为当时塌方的时候，通风管没有被砸坏，通风管呢还可以通点风，通过通风管往里喊话，里边的战士呢都可以接上话了，接上话了就是多了一天，里边人还都活着呢。
最后没办法怎么办呢？打钢管，我得打透了以后怎么办呢？给他续氧。
Fortunately, after 14 hours of stressful rescue, all 127 soldiers were saved. From 1974 to 1978, many collapses occurred along the Guangjiao Tunnel due to geological disturbances and limited technology. 25 soldiers of the No. 10 Division lost their lives during that 4-year period of construction. Years later, a man named Li Shuizhi appeared in the martyr cemetery of Tianjin, Qinghai Province. Li Shuizhi was the former platoon leader of the No. 10 Division and had come to find his old friend, Ding Yangshu. As the Qinghai-Tibet Railway was going to open, the memory of Ding Yangshu from Guizhou Province still stood strong in his mind. Ding Yangshu switched shifts with Li Shuizhi. On that shift, there was a collapse in the tunnel that ended Ding Yangshu's life.
77年2月11号，然后在那施工的时候，当我干得比较累的时候呢，另外我一个战友，然后就替我去干活，他刚干了也就15分钟左右，突然就发生一个塌方，一个大石头，很大的一块石头，然后掉下来一下就把他砸到那个地方了。丁阳书是一个贵州兵，当时他贵州那个战士，当时才21岁。 但后来也就是因为伤势太重了，抢救美国了。
The young and brave soldiers will sleep forever in Guanjiao Shan. Their silent spirits protect the railway. In the end, a total of over 1,000 young soldiers forever lie here along the tracks, after sacrificing their lives during the construction of the Qinghai-Tibet Highway and Qinghai-Tibet Railway.
Smoking in indoor areas of the above places is now prohibited.
我梗係唔會喺室內公眾地方食煙啦。
Sometimes referred to as the pure land of the world due to its high mountainous peaks, the Qinghai-Tibet Plateau holds much mystery. Even with the beauty of a paradise, there are many dangers hidden amongst the land. When a human is up above an altitude of over 4,000 meters, the strain on the body is equal to walking in the plains, carrying 25 kilograms on your back. Sustaining under such conditions for long periods of time could lead to the damage of one's internal organs, as well as effects such as swelling of the brain due to high-altitude sickness. There is a popular saying along the railway. It is said that when you get to Wu Daoliang, you will cry for help, and when you get to Fenghuoshan, you will lose your breath. We are amazed by the courage of the construction workers building the Fenghuoshan tunnel. This tunnel is the highest tunnel in the world. So here we are at the Fenghuoshan Tunnel. Now this is the highest tunnel built in the world. At an altitude of 4,905 meters above sea level, this is a huge accomplishment. Now not only the altitude we need to take into consideration, but all of this land is frozen land. So the workers have dug 1,338 meters through this frozen land at temperatures ranging from 7 degrees Celsius to minus 40 degrees Celsius. As well, the oxygen level here is about 50% of what it would be in the plains. All of these taking into consideration, this has become one of the most challenging projects on the whole railway. Unbelievable. I hand it to the workers. Despite the feelings of sickness and the difficulties of carrying a 2.5 kilogram air tank with them, the workers started construction. As the conditions were extremely tough, the workers would take a break every 2 hours, causing the progression of the project to move slowly. Not long into the project, the workers began to feel the effects of a lack of oxygen and become sick. The only way to solve the problem was to have oxygen stations set up along the line.
凤凰山这个地方是可可西里无人区，是全县自然条件最差的地段。它全年平均气温零下7度，极端最低气温是-40.8度，养分压最好时候只有11.3千帕，差的时候是10.87千帕，洞里边就更低了。在这个问题要修这个隧道的话，首先要解决的就是这个缺氧问题，人上得住，站得稳，打得硬。首先我们解决了制氧问题，建立了世界第一座高海拔制氧站，24小时上隧道的供氧，使隧道的养分压提高2到4个千帕，相当于海拔高度下降1200米。
3 months later, after numerous experiments and tests, scientists from the University of Science and Technology Beijing established the first giant oxygen station in the plateau. The workers spent 8 months trying to overcome the shortage of oxygen, and now there was an answer. The Fenghuoshan Tunnel is one of the most important construction structures along the Qinghai-Tibet Railway. The quality of the tunnel had to be maintained and achieved. Although time was limited, it was decided that the construction of the tunnel would be stopped to allow scientists and researchers to solve the problem of varying cold temperatures in the tunnel. Many different ideas, such as fire and canopies, were used to try to regulate the temperature. This became yet another challenge for the workers to face. After solving the problems of an oxygen shortage and frozen land, the workers would finish 10 meters of work each day, working inwards toward the center from the end. In the highest tunnel of the world, waterproofing, temperature regulation, and blasting the ice were all inspiring technologies for the workers. On October 18, 2002, the night seemed to be particularly quiet for the workers. The headquarters lights were kept on, as the next morning the Fenghuoshan Tunnel would be blasted for the last time, and drilling would be completed. It was time to celebrate years of hard work. People who come from the cities enjoy the silence of the plateau upon arrival. We look around and appreciate the beauty of the surroundings. But for those who have worked here for a long time, the silence only makes the days longer and the desire for their loved ones back home stronger.
没有电话以后，感觉好像真的和家里人一点联系没有，那种感觉非常难受。所以经常如果有人下山，比方说那次我下山了，好几个人都是要烧电话，往家里打电话，写到纸上，什么，有些事儿吧，就具体的事儿。像那天李铎呢，给我张纸条，给他媳妇打的，就是我爱你这些。
Amongst a plateau of above 4,000 meters, generations of Tibetan herdsmen have survived here. For 5,000 years, the Tibetan herdsmen have enjoyed their own lifestyle in the middle of the Qinghai Tibet Plateau. Walking along the plains, I contemplate the many secrets that must be hidden in this magical land. There must be so many stories whispering within these hills that will be lost forever in the wind. When the train runs across the old and mystic lands of Tibet, it appears to be a mystery in itself. Bridges lie one after another, not crossing the valley or the mountains, but rather appearing to just hover above the sacred land. On November 14, 2001, an earthquake with a magnitude of 8.1 occurred at the Kunlun mountain. The power of the earthquake left a 400-kilometer rift in the mountain. When we stop and take a look into the enormous rift, we can see the ice clearly within the rock. This is proof of permafrost. Frozen land occurs when temperatures are below 0 degrees centigrade. The water amongst the rock and earth freezes and expands. When summer comes and temperatures rise, these ice belts melt and shrink in size. Because of this, rifts in the foundation of the roads and houses are unstable, making construction difficult. In 1916, Russia did complete the famous Siberian Railway, which crosses thousands of meters of frozen land. However, due to the constant change in the unstable foundation, the speed of the trains are limited, and sometimes travel is even forbidden. At this construction site, when the loader dug away the Earth's surface, we could clearly see the frozen land underneath.
青藏铁路处于一个地震多发区，铁路有的时候是沿着地震断裂带走，有的呢是直接穿越地震断裂带。我们对于这个穿越地震断裂带的，从工程上呢建议用简单的路基来通过，这样子便于在震后，便于抢修和恢复。从工程抗震的角度来讲，我们认为铁路的设计是安全的。
In 1961, a survey station was established in Fenghuoshan to study the frozen land.
青藏铁路这个多年冻土啊，应当说最大特点是大部分都是高温的不稳定多年冻土，它容易受到一些热扰动以后，它容易发生一些很大的变化，就是退化。
The engineers had many methods of dealing with the frozen land. Altogether, 39 experiments were conducted. The most successful method was to insert a heating stick into the frozen land. This stick was able to regulate the temperature of the land around it, functioning similar to an air conditioner. Inside the heating stick is liquid nitrogen. When the temperature rises, the air is lifted, drawing the heat out and keeping the temperature stable. Another successful way of regulation was to use a ventiduct ground sill. Making use of the wind, the heat in the pipe and around the earth will be taken away. Taking global warming into consideration, some areas were not appropriate for the use of ground sills. In these situations, bridges were built instead. The piers of the bridge lay deep into the rock layer, minimizing the disturbance from the frozen land. A total of 150 kilometers is covered by bridges crossing the frozen land. Many large rivers expanding throughout China originate in the Qinghai Tibet Plateau, as well as many unique mountain species are found here. Kukushali means beautiful girl in Mongolian language. Despite its serene appearance, this land is one of the largest areas of frozen land. So we've made it here to the longest bridge on the Qinghai Tibet Railway. Li means beautiful girl in Mongolian language. Despite its serene appearance, this land is one of the largest areas of frozen land. So we've made it here to the longest bridge on the Qinghai-Tibet Railway, the Qingshui-He Bridge. Now, it spans 11.7 kilometers across these plains, and we're at about 4,700 meters above sea level. So all around here is flat plains, flat prairie, and lots of open sky. And the coolest thing about it is that over there I can see bad weather, definite rain. And over there I can see rain. But right here we have sunshine. It's beautiful, so vast. The Qingshui-He Bridge, which crosses the frozen land of the Kököşili, is the longest railway bridge built upon the plateau. It has been built with the migration of precious animals such as the Tibetan antelope in mind. The diameter of each pier hole is about 1.2 meters, and there are over 5,000 areas which the antelope can pass through safely. So we've been driving for a little while now, and we've come across this bridge, the Sancha-He Bridge. It's the tallest bridge along the Qinghai-Tibet Railway. It stands about 54 meters high from the base of the ground here. Now, not such a big deal, some of you might think, but please take into consideration that right now we're about 3,700 meters above sea level, so the air is quite thin, even I'm breathing heavy. Quite an amazing structure. The Sancha-He Bridge is 690 meters long and 52.1 meters high. Among its 20 piers, 17 are hollowed inside, making it quite difficult to build. There was a myth that said that the piers of the bridge were covered with very thick comforters during the construction to keep them warm. Otherwise, the piers would be frozen and cleft. Yet again, I have to say that I'm rather impressed with the Chinese people's courage, ambition, perseverance, and just downright hard work. The Qinghai-Tibet Railway is an incredible structure, and we have much respect for the construction workers who dedicated 6 years of their lives to this. That's the end of our program for today. Thank you for watching. Please watch us again next week when we take a closer look at the environmental measures taken to keep harmony in China's hidden land, Tibet.